It's almost funny how even a young lich can bend a whole village of commoners into complete subjugation. How, at a mere fraction of its capacity, mortals stand no chance to even a warning of necrotic magic. It's almost funny. Definitely not as amusing when you walk through the streets of your once bustling town to only find empty alleyways and cowering citizens. The scent of death and decay permeates, making the air thick as though a great humidity hangs in the atmosphere. If you do happen on some of the townsfolk, their eyes are either mad with movement or completely void, empty of hope and humanity. Those are the ones who have had the most taken from them. Every month, a handful of people are dragged from their homes into the lich's lair. Family members, lovers, friends, anyone he wishes to satiate his palate. 6 months, it's been like this. 6 months of an entire town trembling in fear. 6 months of you planning. Call it valiance, or call it plain stupidity, but you believe you can alleviate this town of its undead oppressor. And there's one fact that you've learned in your months of research. If it goes wrong, then the grip of the lich tightens. But if it goes right, then his hand focuses on a new ward. Yourself. Your determination was born when he performed his first culling. Desiring to set an example, the lich who is known as Skazhad took his largest portion, a quarter of the village. This included the blacksmith who, while gruff, was always ready to tell stories of her adventures to the children. The baker, who always snuck in extra rolls if you told him a good joke. The young family who lived next door to you, with the little girl who could giggle and light up the whole street. The sheer size of this twisted harvest meant that practically the whole village had been affected in some way. And the mourning was so deep that townsfolk began to call it the Great Taking. But with mourning comes anger, and with anger comes action. In the wake of the Great Taking, whispers began to circulate in the streets. Fathers started to craft tools into weapons. Mothers would spend hours forging armor. Children would sneak about the street, carrying messages of revolt. You had even found yourself positioned, training with the only retired knight left alive. He must have smelled the hope in the air. It started with the strongest villagers. Visions of the undead entered their minds, while thick green veins spread across their skin. A pungent odor would emanate from them before the supernatural plague took them entirely, leaving them to be writhing, sniveling mess on their cot before finally succumbing. Only after terrifying everyone around them. It was that fear that spread the sickness, until it reached almost every corner of the rebellion in mere days. Another quarter of the village gone. Whether it be by sheer luck or some providential intervention, you knew it was a sign that you were the only one who managed to survive. Instead of the fear that froze the hearts of the others. With every villager overcome with madness, the hatred in your heart grew stronger. While none of the subsequent harvests or plagues have been quite as substantial since the first bout, it definitely got his point across. He would not hesitate if things got unruly, which means you would have to be smarter, more cunning in your own approach. You would have to play a very dangerous game against an opponent who had every advantage. That's how you found yourself here, the base of the hill that housed the cavern Skaz had called his throne. You had entered hours before, under the cover of night. But now the first washes of orange signal that dawn is fast approaching. It's a miracle. You made it out alive to see it. You had fully expected to walk into Skazhad's lair and be immediately disintegrated. Or, far worse, turned. But you hadn't. It's almost like he sensed that you were there to make the boldest declaration any mortal could make. And so it's now that you're looking over the whole of the town that you can feel it. It was a simple exchange, really. The town's freedom for yours. Now, instead of feeding on the souls of your home, it's your job to find sustenance for the lich. To do so, he's given you a seed of his magic. The necrotic power burns in your veins. It's terrifying. Being his right hand, subject to his whims and follies, unknowing of when he will become dissatisfied with your services. But as you see the people of your town slowly begin to awake and breathe the newly fresh air, hopeful for what's to come, you wouldn't trade it for the world.